Warning. The following presentation reveals content, visuals, and footage destined to only be seen by Level 2 RAISA personnel or higher. It has been declassified under Chapter 17, Section C, in strict accordance with SCP protocol. Proceed with extreme caution. Viewer discretion is mandatory.
Okay, so imagine this, right? You get handed this file, and it's stamped declassified.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, and inside there's just one document.
Just one.
Just one. But trust me, it's enough to make you wonder what you've gotten yourself into.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I'm hooked. What's the deal?
We're talking SCP-002.
002, a classic.
And this deep dive is our chance to, really understand what makes this anomaly tick and why it has the SCP Foundation so well intrigued.
It's like we're getting a peek behind the Foundation's curtain, which we don't get very often.
Nope, not very often at all.
In this declassified document, it really zeroes in on these containment procedures for SCP-002, which right there, that's our first clue that we're dealing with something big.
Yeah, no kidding.
Think of it like, when you first get brought onto a new job?
Oh.
Yeah. Exactly like your Level 2 orientation, but within RAISA. That's the Foundation's Record-Keeping and Information Security Division.
Ah, RAISA, the Keepers of Secrets.
Exactly.
So right off the bat, we know this thing needs some serious security measures.
Oh, absolutely.
Even after all these years.
Yeah.
So let's unpack what we know about SCP-002 itself. What are we even looking at here?
All right, so the document describes it as this fleshy growth.
Fleshy growth.
Yeah, fleshy growth. And it's about the size of a small apartment.
Okay.
So imagine, something organic.
Okay.
Almost tumorous.
Okay.
And it has this heavy iron hatch set into one side.
A hatch. What's on the other side of that?
Well, now this is where it gets really strange.
Okay.
Behind the hatch is what appears to be a totally normal, typical apartment interior. Yeah, it's small, a bit run down, but it's even got a window on one wall.
Wow.
Although it's impossible to see through from the outside, of course.
Right.
And get this, it's furnished.
Okay, that's a bit more, homey than I was expecting. Furnished how?
That's the thing. See, the furniture, it's not your typical, IKEA assembly.
Okay.
It's made of organic material.
Organic.
Like bone, hair, you name it. And each piece has unique DNA, like some kind of macabre puzzle.
Instead of homey,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm getting disturbingly personal. No wonder they have super strict protocols around this.
No, absolutely.
What kind of precautions are we talking about here?
So the document really stresses constant power to SCP-002.
Can't even.
A loss of power is that's a big no-no.
Oh, I bet. And then there's, of course, negative air pressure, emergency barriers, the works. But here's the real kicker. They always have to have at least a team of 2 personnel within 20 meters of it at all times.
Wait, they can't even be near it alone?
Nope.
What happens if they are?
That's where things get even more unsettling. It seems like just being near SCP-002 can distort your perception. You start seeing things, or rather not seeing things that should be there.
Oh, that's not good.
No, so the buddy system is there to make sure that somebody knows if you're about to wander off into, SCP-002's version of reality.
And I'm guessing they really don't want anyone taking a detour into this particular room. But why all the secrecy even now? The document mentions that even higher-ups need clearance for this.
Because SCP-002 has a bit of a history of making people disappear. Disappear? What, like they just vanish into thin air? Poof.
Precisely.
Wow.
The document cites 7 disappearances so far.
7.
7. And remember that whole organic furniture thing we talked about?
Yeah.
Well, it seems SCP-002 doesn't just have it, it grows it.
Grows it?
Yeah.
What does it even use?
So they've tried introducing all sorts of things, lab animals, even cadavers.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So you're saying it needs people?
Let's just say the document strongly suggests that living humans are let's call it a catalyst for SCP-002's furnishing process.
Okay, now this is getting really interesting. So we've got this bizarre anomaly, potentially deadly to anyone who gets too close, but what's the story behind its discovery?
To understand that, we need to delve into the Mulhausen report.
The Mulhausen report.
Yeah, this details SCP-002's journey to Earth and the events that followed.
Okay.
That's where things get really intriguing.
So the Mulhausen report, what kind of backstory are we talking about here? Where did SCP-002 even come from?
The report, it reads like almost like an urban legend,
Okay.
Like, picture this, a farmer in Portugal just going about his day, and he stumbles across this fleshy thing,
Okay.
half buried in a crater.
Okay. I'm already picturing the scene, straight out of a sci-fi movie. So what happens next?
So this farmer, probably more curious than scared at this point, right?
Yeah.
He reports his find and word eventually, you guessed it, reaches the SCP Foundation.
Of course, they've always got their ears to the ground. Or in this case, their sensors.
Exactly. Seems they picked up some, let's just say, unusual readings in the area.
So in steps, the Foundation,
Yeah.
ready to investigate. What was their initial reaction to SCP-002?
Well, at this stage, it wasn't even called SCP-002. They were dealing with something totally unknown, totally new.
A giant fleshy... Well, we still don't know what to call it.
Exactly.
Talk about a logistical nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. But here's where the Mulhausen report takes a bit of a dark turn.
Okay.
They managed to contain the anomaly, but it seems General Mulhausen, the man in charge, he decided to run some tests.
Ah, the classic scientific curiosity. What could go wrong, right?
Right. So they recruited a few volunteers from a nearby village, and this is where the human cost of these discoveries, it becomes really clear.
Yeah.
They sent these volunteers into the anomaly one by one. None of them came back out.
Okay, that's 3 disappearances right there. Add that to the 7 from before. And this thing's starting to look less like an anomaly and more like a death trap.
Yeah, you start to see why they're so careful now, right?
Yeah. How did Mulhausen react to this?
Well, he's faced with a potential breach, public panic,
Yeah.
He made let's just say, a drastic decision.
What did he do?
He ordered the termination of all witnesses.
He had an entire village silenced.
Oh, just like that. Well, a third of the village, according to the report. But still.
That's chilling. Absolutely chilling. And what about his team? Surely they must have had some concerns about what they were dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where things get even more intense.
Right.
So they're prepping the container for transport. And I can only imagine what that entailed, right? 4 of Mulhausen's own security personnel, they were pulled into the anomaly. Gone. Just like that.
Okay, now this is starting to feel like a horror movie. What did they find when they finally looked inside?
More furniture.
What?
The apartment, it was even more lived in than before. It's almost as if SCP-002 was, settling in.
So each disappearance, each life lost, seems to make this apartment more complete. But for what purpose? What's the end goal here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's where those redacted sections of the report come into play.
Redacted sections, huh? Now you've really got my attention.
What?
What kind of secrets are we talking about here?
Well, this is where the Mulhausen report, it kind of stops feeling like, an official report.
Okay.
And it becomes more like one of those unsolved mystery files.
Okay, I like it.
Huge chunks of text, especially around Mulhausen's actions and 002's final transport, just blacked out.
Completely.
Yeah, well, almost. The only thing that's clear is that General Mulhausen was terminated.
Terminated. That's not exactly standard procedure, even for the Foundation. What happened?
That's the thing. The details, they're completely redacted.
Really?
Gone. Which, knowing the Foundation, that probably means whatever happened, it was just too dangerous to even hint at. Too sensitive, even for our level 2 eyes.
Okay, now I really need to know. What do we know about what happened after Mulhausen?
That's where the trail goes cold. After Mulhausen's, departure, the report just states that SCP-002 was secured, moved to a classified location, and, that's it. That's where it is to this day.
So let me get this straight. We've got this fleshy anomaly, growing furniture out of who knows what, making people disappear left and right. It spooked even the Foundation's top people. So why declassify this file now? With so much still, under wraps.
That is the question, isn't it? Why give us a glimpse into SCP-002's past like this, especially with those, those tantalizing redacted sections? It's almost like they're leaving us breadcrumbs.
You think there's more to this than just a history lesson?
Maybe. Just maybe. Perhaps they need, a fresh set of eyes on this. Someone to connect the dots that they haven't.
What kind of dots?
I don't know. What's the significance of that organic furniture? What really happened to Mulhausen? What makes a living human different from any other organic matter? I mean, these are the questions, right?
Yeah.
Big ones.
It's like we're being handed a puzzle box, but half the pieces are missing.
It's more than half.
True. Where do we even begin to look for answers?
Well, that's the thrill of RAISA, isn't it? We just start digging.
Digging where?
Everywhere. We cross-reference this Mulhausen report with, other declassified SCP files, personnel records, maybe even see what kind of energy signatures were detected back at those initial sightings. I mean, there's a whole world of information out there just waiting to be pieced together.
You've definitely given us a lot to think about, that's for sure. If this is what they're declassifying these days, I can't wait to see what other secrets the SCP Foundation is sitting on. Until then, I'll be over here piecing together the clues and try not to get, absorbed by a sentient piece of furniture.